April 27th was the first slight risk for severe storms in Colorado outlined in the Storm Prediction Center's severe weather outlook. This particular day, the outlined risks were mainly for wind and hail, but there was a mention of a 2% chance of tornadoes within 25 miles of any point in this area. Historically, I haven't chased any storms in Colorado that were worth chasing in April, so I was on the fence on this day up until I was out the door. But as soon as I got out the door, I was greeted by crisp updrafts and pretty storms. The chase was on.
We got hail.
I started out just a half hour from home, east of Colorado Springs.
Ah, the sweet smell of wet dirt. Sound of thunder. We got our business end over here. A little bit early to the show here, but first storm chase of 2021 underway. Looks like we've got our developing supercell here. I'm a little bit north of it because it's moving due north. Just kind of sitting in the rain, waiting for it to do something interesting, but all right, we've got a developing supercell here. Pretty elongated base so far, but just in the last 5 minutes, this thing has started to really consolidate.
I've sped up a lot of footage in this video so you can really see the motion of the storm as it evolves and eventually produces some really incredible scenes.
All right, I'm right underneath a developing wall cloud here. I'm gonna get in the car here quick because that was a really close lightning bolt right before I started this. But this thing's really ramping up. It's getting fun.
By now, the storm was really exhibiting supercell characteristics, with a rotating storm base and a severe thunderstorm warning for ping-pong ball-sized hail and 60-mile-an-hour winds. I knew the chances of a tornado on the storm were slim, but I couldn't help believe what my eyes were telling me. This storm meant business. For about a half an hour, I continued watching what had become this nearly stationary supercell. It was beautiful to watch and already beat my expectations for the day's storm activity. The storm made several attempts to produce a tornado, including this last one as I was driving toward the circulation. You can even see a weak funnel on the storm in the left of the frame here. After this attempt, though, the storm finally gave way to weak surface winds and began gusting out as it ingested the cold air from its decaying precipitation core. But just as this happened, a new storm began to form just to my southeast. Now, when a storm is directly to your southeast, you have two options that don't involve getting your car destroyed by hail. The first is to go north and then east to get out in front of it, or take your time and follow the storm as it moves out of your way so you can get into position after it passes. On this storm, I chose to take my time and let it pass and follow the precipitation core as it moved off my road. You could say that there was some hail in it. Eventually, though, I was able to get out ahead of the storm and get a good view of my second storm of the day. Unfortunately, by this point, the storm was already gusting out, just like the first one. The day was still early, though, so I took my time enjoying the views for a bit and plotted my next moves. It didn't take long, however, for a small storm to my southeast to catch my eye. The storm was in a much more favorable environment for tornadoes, and it was all by itself, which is exactly what you want for photogenic storms.
Alright, we're on our first tornado warning of the year. We are heading south to get out in front of this storm. It's north of Haswell, Colorado. You can see the base there off to the right. Fairly low precipitation supercell. So everything should be quite visible and photogenic.
And just as I got in position on this new storm, I saw it. A developing ground circulation directly under the storm. A developing tornado. Since I like to do time lapses of storms, I stopped where I was and began taking in the tornado. It took my breath away. There's just something about all the forecasting and driving that, when it pays off, it just feels incredible. It was the first time I had ever seen twin tornadoes. After 15 minutes of dancing across open fields, the first tornado began to dissipate. I saw this time as an opportunity to get closer to the parent circulation in case it produced another photogenic tornado. And not long after, the circulation touched down again. Shown here is the rotating updraft with a large bowl-shaped funnel above the dusty ground circulation. The only road option I had was directly toward it, and I wanted to let it pass before I continued on. Once it had, though, I had moved in for what would be my closest intercept of a tornado to date.
The actual sound of the tornado.
This was a weaker tornado, so I wasn't too worried about being this close. I was a little annoyed though at how much dust it had lofted into the air, because it was really difficult to see any detail in the tornado. I ended my day southeast of the storm, watching the tornado I had just danced with dissipate into the wind. It was an incredible experience, and a heck of a way to start out the chase season. If you've enjoyed this video, hit the subscribe button, because I'll be putting out quite a few more storm videos as the season progresses. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.